Thank you for your vote of confidence. I see that it's the people in the room that I pay saying that, so I appreciate you all. But seriously, thank you all for joining us tonight to make a little bit of history. First off, I think we actually have some elected officials who were brave enough to come in and show their faces at a change campaign tonight. We see Representative Gamba, thank you for coming tonight. And then Representative Bowman I saw. Hello, Representative Bowman. Do we have other electeds in the room that I've not seen? Oh, Jesse Beeson's here. Hey! Raise your hand. There. Hey! Thanks for coming, Jesse. Sweet, and thank you all to the rest of us for joining here tonight to make a little bit of history. So the movement to bring ranked choice voting to Oregon has grown really tremendously over the past decade, and Oregonians from every background, every political affiliation, and really from every part of the state are coming to us and expressing strong support. From Benton County, who passed it in 2016, leading the way for this. And I think Blair is in the room. Blair, are you here? Because this is your fault. There you are. This guy. Thanks, Blair. To a small group of organizations, and I know we've got many of them in the room. I know Isabel from Next Up will be speaking, who've been instrumental in this movement from the beginning. And now we are over 75 organizations, ranging from good government groups to organizations representing communities of color, to veterans advocates, to youth advocates, to labor unions, to environmental organizations, rural advocates, small businesses, and so many others. We are now the largest coalition ever to support an election reform of this kind in the United States. So thank you all for all of your work that we get here. And thank you to my child for being the one to scream in the room. Hi, Quinn. Oh, and now we got a helicopter too. This is great. So, but I do want to note that we did not get here overnight. So this process has been years in the making. This policy and this campaign are built on the foundation of many hundreds of meetings, of policy work groups, of legal roundtables, of discussions with voters, with organizations, and with experts across the state. And this isn't just good policy though, it's necessary. We've talked to voters across the state and they are ready for change. And you know, looking around this room, just out of curiosity, how many people out there just look at politics today in our country and you're like, this is great, I love this? How many of you are like, this is fine, this is awesome? I see one hand, okay, cool. How many of you today are feeling a little bit discouraged by what you've been seeing? How many of you are a little bit angry about things sometimes? Yeah? So, I'm gonna clue you in here. Turns out, everyday voters are a little pissed off too. Everyday people are pretty discouraged by the state of politics right now. And they feel like they don't actually have a choice. They feel like when they do have a choice, they can't even actually vote for them because they feel like they're compelled to vote for the lesser of two evils. But we know that it doesn't need to be that way. Measure 117 benefits every type of voter. Measure 117 is a simple upgrade to our elections, and it gives all voters more choice. We are going to see better candidates. We're going to see better candidates who better reflect voters across the state. We're going to see campaigns based on the issues we care about and less about tearing each other down. And we are going to see people feel like they have more voice in their elections again. Oregon has always been a national leader in elections. We are ready to lead the way again by passing Measure 117. Tonight marks the official kickoff of this campaign so many of you in this room have worked so hard to make a reality. The speakers tonight represent just some of the diverse groups working here tonight on behalf of all Oregonians. Thank you all. Working together, we are going to win this campaign. We're going to win this campaign and we're going to give voters more voice in their elections. Thank you so much.
What a way to kick us off. Thank you, Mike. Don't be embarrassed. I love it. Next up, speaking of next up, we're going to hear from Isabella Villarreal. Come on.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. How are you? Good. Okay. Hi. Like Tajane said, my name is Isabella Villarreal. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Policy and Communications Director at Next Up Action Fund. We are an organization that's been around for over 20 years, and we build the political power with diverse young people to achieve a more just and equitable state. And as an organization that is concerned with our electoral systems, we know that our communities are greatly impacted by them. And this is why we're in strong support of Measure 117 today. As an organization that works with young people, we of course deeply care about the youth vote. And we know it's of the utmost importance that young people are represented in our democracy and feel like that they actually can participate in it meaningfully. We also know young people are critical constituencies that face a chronic lack of political representation in our system. So every single election cycle, oh, okay, goodbye, that's fun. Every single election cycle, we talk to thousands of 18 and 29-year-olds about voter registration, how to participate in elections, and just ensure that they can meaningfully participate every single election cycle, not just presidential ones, but school boards, state races, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll address the elephant in the room. Do young people care about politics? Yes, thank you. Okay. We oftentimes hear that young people just don't care about politics, they care about anything else, but we know that's not true. The problem is that young people have faced, for a long time, an issue of not feeling meaningfully engaged. We're disillusioned with the choices we often face and often feel like we are throwing away our vote when we actually vote for the candidate. Okay, when we actually vote for the candidate that truly represents ourselves and our community's values. So with Measure 117, we're finally addressing that and removing this issue of having to vote for the lesser of two evils every single election cycle. We know that we deserve to have our voices heard and actually be able to vote for candidates that will represent us and that we think will do the best job possible. And again, Measure 117 gives us as voters the ability to vote for who we want and how we want to. By switching to ranked choice voting in elections and giving voters the ability to rank candidates, we can actually be assured that our votes count, even if your favorite candidate doesn't win, which is fine. At the end of the day, this is a proven, tested system used by more than 13 million voters across the US, over 50 jurisdictions. We are certainly not new to it, and we certainly won't be last when Measure 117 passes. And again, democracy only works when it's built for all of us. And by voting yes on Measure 117, we can actually move closer to a world that addresses our needs, our aspirations, and the values in our community in the place that we call home. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm excited to bring up our next speaker, Derek Clevenger. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna get in trouble because I'm already going off script. You know, you write a speech and like my very first line is like, hey, for those I haven't introduced myself to, which is everybody because those tamales captured my heart. Fantastic job. But my name is Derek Clevenger. I am the former mayor of Almsville, Oregon. I'm a former candidate for House District 17, but more importantly, I'm a veteran. And I am here representing Veterans for All voters. Our organization is a national organization, really just looking to give veterans a platform to push for electoral reform and change. And that's why we support Measure 117. Really making our government more effective, that's what veterans want to see, is efficacy. I think ranked choice voting can do that. And at Veterans for All voters, we think ranked choice voting can do that. In 2022, I ran as an unaffiliated candidate for Oregon House District 17. What I didn't realize at the time is that our system is really stacked against anybody who is not willing to put a D or an R next to their name. Despite overcoming every hurdle that the state put in front of me, which is quite a bit more if you're running as an unaffiliated candidate, I was still left off the ballot. Unfortunately, things happen all the time where promising candidates are not allowed to be on the ballot for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons that happens quite frequently is their own party. How many of us have been told that we shouldn't vote for someone that we support in our primary? How many of us have been told that we're wasting our vote if we vote for who we want to vote for? It's pretty common. Measure 117 takes this into consideration and wants to fix that. Instead of being stuck with, as everybody said so far, the lesser of two evils, it gives us the ability to choose who we want, who we support. And it empowers Oregonians to vote for who we want instead of the candidates that were pre-selected for us. Everyday Americans know that our elected officials are failing us. That's not hidden to any of us. Polarization in Congress is higher than it's been in over a century, and currently over 80% of both state and federal representative or legislature districts are considered non-competitive at all. Our trust in government has crumbled, and at Veteran for All voters, we view these issues as directly linked to the problems that we're facing. Special interests dominate campaigns, allowing for very little space for citizens to have influence on candidate priorities. What a lot of people also don't realize is party rules and dynamics largely keep many of our elected officials from supporting who they want to support. This perpetuates a system where we have very little trust in our politicians on both sides. Measure 117 proposes a solution, enabling Oregonians to vote for candidates that most closely reflect their values, instead of, again, picking the lesser of two evils. Who's tired of voting for the tolerable candidate? I am. Too often our system is engineered to serve narrow interests rather than the needs of our communities. Be it Portland or Prineville, Oregonians are working class people that are tired of far removed candidates who seem unwilling or unable to actually work for the communities they're supposed to represent. Frankly, Oregonians are tired of state representatives being more focused on national issues than they are, again, with the people that they are supposed to represent. We need leaders that are people first, not party first. Representatives that are truly dedicated to solving the myriad of problems facing our state, our failing economy, inaccessible health care, and the after effects of our drug crisis. Many of these issues were perpetuated by a system that forces us to make decisions based on politics instead of people. Ranked choice voting allows voters to elect and rank candidates who they actually want in office. Measure 117 gives Oregonians greater ability to select their representatives and greater ability to hold them accountable. This means candidates have to appeal to a broader range of Oregonians, not just the compliant base that they usually rely on. Is anyone here not tired of the state of politics in Oregon? I think we already asked this question, right? We're all pretty exhausted. From the coast of the Willamette Valley and across rural Oregon, people are ready for change. Measure 117 gives us the opportunity to take back power for Oregonians. It allows us to elect leaders that truly have our community's best interests at heart. And I know that in November, you guys are going to help us pass it, right? So hopefully we can move towards a more inclusive democracy and a democracy that we are better able to hold accountable. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the time. Make sure to get some of those tamales.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm talking about the tamales. Before I bring on our next speaker, just a reminder, if you are taking your beautiful, gorgeous, amazing photos, please do not forget to tag us on Instagram or any other social media platform. We are Yes on 117 on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Feel free to use the hashtag as well, but we want to be able to repost and share all of the wonderful photos from tonight. Next up, I'm excited to hear from, or we should be excited to hear from, Audrey Zunkel DeCourcy.
Okay, here we are. Good evening. I'm Audrey Zunkel DeCourcy with the League of Women Voters of Oregon. I am the Vice President of the League of Women Voters of Portland, which endorses Measure 117, as does the League of Women Voters of Oregon. For over 100 years, the League has been empowering voters and defending democracy. We are a fiercely nonpartisan organization, even though we are political. One wing of our work is impartial voter information about measures and candidates. Another wing is advocacy on issues important to all voters. We often support or oppose action on specific issues, but never candidates or parties. In that role of support, the League of Women Voters of Oregon is proud to join over 75 groups endorsing Measure 117. In the League of Women Voters, we only take action after studying an issue in depth from all perspectives. After studying voting systems, we concluded that ranked choice voting gives voters the best representation. Of all the possible improvements to election systems, ranked choice voting is the preferred one. Here's why this is important to the League. First reason, a focus on the big issues. We want to have our voices heard. We want leaders who represent us and our values. Ranked choice voting can help our leaders understand the issues that affect Oregonians. In our current system, a candidate can win with just a narrow base of support. But with ranked choice voting, we can ensure that candidates win with broad support. Ranked choice voting encourages candidates to reach out to more voters. If they have to reach out, then they have to try to understand the big issues that matter to more of us. The big issues that are affecting our lives right now and for future generations to come. The climate crisis, education, mass incarceration, public safety, government accountability, public health, civil rights, housing, strong families, immigration reform, election integrity, and the strength of democracy itself. Ranked choice voting focuses campaigns on the big issues because leaders have to win with broader support from voters. Measure 117 can help us elect leaders who prioritize the issues we do and who are accountable to our communities. Second reason, better campaigns, less polarized campaigns. We believe that compromise can lead to better governance. Divisiveness and polarization in our current system can reward bad behavior, extremes, and amplify one-sided ideologies. Where ranked choice voting is used, campaigns are often observed as having less mudslinging and more civility. It pays for candidates to take this approach, to earn second or third place votes as well as the first place votes they garner. Ranked choice voting can facilitate cross-party communication, bargaining, and compromise to enhance our democracy. Third reason, more choices. Our current system gives voters limited choices. Too few have a say in who actually gets elected. Measure 117 will let us rank candidates. You can vote for your favorite candidate and backup choices. We don't need to worry about wasting a vote on a candidate who can't win. Ranked choice voting can give power back to all voters with the option to rank as many or as few candidates for that office that you want to. And when we rank candidates, your vote still counts even if your first choice doesn't win, giving you more say in who is elected. With leagues in every state, we know that people across this country are already experiencing the benefits of ranked choice voting. More choices and a real voice. The League of Women Voters is in the business of protecting the vote and making sure that it is most powerful for voters. And that's why we support Measure 117.
Thank you so much. Next up, can we have Marcus Mundy? Oh, you're already making your way. You already know.
All right. Thank you all for being here. My name is Marcus Mundy. I gotta read it. I am the executive director at the Coalition of Communities of Color, and we're an alliance of culturally specific organizations dedicated to collective action for racial justice. While some of my staff is at trivia tonight, some of my staff is at happy hour tonight, there's no place I'd rather be than right here talking to you all about Measure 117. So the Coalition, we're proud to be a part of the broad and vibrant array, you've heard it, of over 75 organizations that support Measure 117 to champion statewide ranked choice voting. In 2022, we were one of the groups that led the coalition to pass ranked choice voting at the local level right here in Portland, which was successful. Everybody voted this election. We are excited that Portlanders will get to use this new system for the first time this November at the same time they consider this measure, Measure 117. For decades, we've seen many of the ways that the communities we serve, including Asian, African, Latin, Native American, Pacific Islanders, and many other communities have been disenfranchised within our community, within our democracy. Our communities have faced numerous barriers to participating in our democracy, including a lack of meaningful choices and voters not seeing themselves reflected in the candidate options. These barriers also negatively impact candidates who would like to run for office. In the way our elections work now, candidates of color are often told to wait their turn, or they're discouraged from running for office in fear that they will split the vote from another candidate. Ultimately, this fear can act as a barrier for candidates of color despite their strong desire to represent their communities. Now, Measure 117 will address these issues by giving voters more choices on their ballots to choose candidates that best represent them, and in turn, giving candidates more opportunities to run and hopefully to frequently win. Yeah, it opens up the playing field for a larger bench of diverse candidates from different lived experiences for Oregonians to see reflected in the candidate pool. Our democracy thrives when more people of all cultures and faiths and backgrounds have a seat at the table. Oregon has the opportunity to realize this principle today, right now, this principle of equity with Measure 117. In the places that have adopted ranked choice voting, more first-time candidates, more women, more people of color, more young people, more older people run for office. And they win in greater numbers. Some recent examples include New York City, which elected its most diverse city council in 2022, featuring a majority of women and numerous people of color, and they did this with the help of ranked choice voting. We can also look at the dozens of places that use ranked choice voting, like the state of Maine. You've heard about it before, but knowing that voters of all demographics understand how it works and they prefer it to the existing the systems that existed before ranked choice voting arrived. So, our bottom line here is that ranked choice voting will lead to a diversity of voices within our elections, improve representation for all Oregonians, and this is why the Coalition of Communities of Color and the other 74 members of this coalition are encouraging all you voters here and everybody you know to vote on Measure 117 this November. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right, you already know. Can we give it up for our closer? Come on, Mr. Mike.
Yeah,
Okay. You're not too closer.
Closer, Marcus is definitely closer. I'm just here to ask for money. Hey everybody, thank you all for coming tonight. First of all, can you please give another round of applause to our panel of speakers? Thank you guys all for coming out and talking tonight. Could our executive committee members, our steering committee members, and the staff of the team here all raise your hands? Give these guys all a round of applause. You are working so hard, and it is the best team that I've ever worked with. Appreciate every single one of you. It has been a joy and an honor to get us to this point, and I look forward to winning this thing with you all. It is rare that this many organizations and people come together around an issue, especially this diverse of a group of people and organizations. We can't agree on a lot in this country anymore, but I'm glad to see somebody agree with us on this. We have an opportunity to be a tipping point for the rest of the country here. Oregon is a leader in the elections, and we can lead the way again. But the misinformation chain, it's already teeing up against us. It's already in motion. We're seeing it happen already. The bad news for those folks is that we've done our homework. We're good at our jobs. We know what we're doing, and we are the majority. We know one thing about this campaign is that we're going to win it if we get the word out to voters. We have so much polling data, we have so much research, and we know it in our bones. If we just talk to people, we win. And so I'm going to ask everybody here tonight to give us your help with that. And you know one of the asks first is we need your money. All of your money. Or at least a little bit of money. On every table there is a QR code. We're not going to do the raise your hand. If you can give $20,000, raise your hand. If you can give $200,000. I know most of you are just itching to give large sums of money to us, but we appreciate anything you can do because it is actually getting matched by a donor up to $50,000. So we appreciate that. So anything you can give is appreciated. There are QR codes on your table. But also, not only do we want your money, but we want your time and your labor. And anything else you can give us. We could use an extra couch at the office too. But to sit here. Sid, if you can host a house party, come talk to Sid. If you are part of an organization that can host an event. We will call it a house party. And we can talk to your members, talk to Sid. We're doing events all across the state of Oregon. We can help train you, we can help do a speakers bureau. We already have over 101 trained speakers across the state, and the campaign is just kicking off today. We may have done a few of them before today. So talk to Sid if you can do an event. Can Sol and Tajane raise your hands? Yes, Sol and Tajane, yeah, you all know Tajane. If you are part of an organization that for some reason has not endorsed yet, it would be really fun to get to this number instead of 76 organizations. We'd love to have 117, and we need your help. And then if you could all follow us on social media, and as Malia here can tell you, I don't know what that means, but I'm told by my staff that our hashtag? Our hashtag is yes on 117. And as a final note, thank you all again. This is really a simple change. It's just allowing people to rank their candidates, but it will be a big deal for folks. It really will help restore some of the democratic process we all believe in. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a tamale, have at least 2 drinks on us, and have some fun.
Thank you so much, Mike. Okay, just kidding. I'm the closer. So I have something to say. Can we give it up for all of our amazing speakers tonight? Thank you. Okay. I know you're biting your nails. I know you're shaking in your boots. I know you want to know who won this important election. Who won? It was close. We do have people crying in the back. Yes, stop your feet. Some of you are not surprised. I'm not surprised. This is my top choice. Congratulations to President Horchata. Yeah. 4 more years. Anyways, please stay, drink, be merry. Sid and I are going to kill it on the dance floor after this. I don't know if you've ever seen us at karaoke, but we get down. So we invite you to stay. We invite you to commune with us, get to know us, and celebrate this amazing campaign. Mike had a couple asks. I also had to ask, if you are an organization that has recently endorsed, you may have seen a couple emails from me. I do have SEL forms on me tonight. I may be bothering you, asking you to fill it out. I'm happy to do it. I'm excited. If you're an organization that has not yet endorsed, come talk to me. Organizations, small business, individuals, I have the forms right here. I'm ready to go. All you have to do is just talk to me. So, eat, drink, be merry. Come talk to me if you haven't filled out your form. Come talk to me if you're interested in endorsing or getting to know the campaign. I'm happy to help. Thank you all for being here. Let's kill it, Sid. On the dance floor.